13 of the fantasy football season, and here's a few running backs I looked at on the waiver wire this week. The first guy, JaMycal Hasty of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So Hasty filling in for Travis Etienne, who left the ball game in Week 12 with a foot injury. And he had a great game as Hasty and a great victory for this Jacksonville Jaguar team versus the Ravens. 12 carries, 28 yards, 5 catches, 67 yards, and a touchdown. So right now I know they claimed Darrell Henderson off waivers a few days ago. Here was this Jacksonville Jaguar team. But right here, JaMycal Hasty was the next man up. Obviously, Henderson's not up to snuff yet with the playbook over there in Jacksonville. But he's definitely a guy that's going to get work as well if Etienne has to miss any time. But right now, Hasty available 97% of fantasy leagues. He looks like a guy who's hungry, who's running hard with the football. And we saw some flashes from him a few seasons ago with the San Francisco 49ers where he played well. So right now, Hasty, definitely a top running back target to get on the wire this week. The next guy, Ty Johnson of the New York Jets. Ty Johnson, he's a guy who just needs opportunity, I believe. And right here, even in this ball game, once Michael Carter went down with an ankle sprain, he only got 6 touches, but made the most of it. 5 carries, 62 yards, a touchdown, and a catch for 16 yards. So right now, James Robinson, he was a healthy scratch. He could definitely get back into the mix after being inactive in this ball game. And Zonovan Knight is another guy who I'm going to talk about next. But right now, Ty Johnson is a guy who's been on the Jets the last couple seasons. Decent hands out of the backfield. And a guy who could actually run in between the tackles as well. So right now, available 99% of fantasy leagues. He's definitely a running back to have on the radar this week. And pick up the next guy, Zonovan Knight of the New York Jets. So right here, Knight made his debut and he didn't disappoint. 14 carries, 69 yards, 3 catches, 34 yards. And to start this ball game, him and Michael Carter were splitting until Carter went down. So Knight, it looks like, obviously jumped over Ty Johnson on the depth chart, with James Robinson being the healthy scratch. But right now, if it's going to be Carter out a couple weeks with the ankle sprain and Robinson still a healthy scratch, it's going to be Knight and Ty Johnson probably splitting the work over there in the backfield for this New York Jet team. So right now, available in 100% of fantasy leagues, more deeper leagues. Knight will be an ad this week. The next guy, Chuba Hubbard of the Carolina Panthers. So Chuba Hubbard, he's been hurt over the last couple weeks, not playing much of a role for this Carolina Panther team. But in Week 12, he had a good role, 17 carries, 65 yards. And we saw Foreman as well go over 100 yards in the ball game. So the last few weeks, like I said, Week 8 and 9, he was hurt. Week 10, he returned versus the Falcons, 5 carries, 14 yards. And then Week 11 at Baltimore, 2 catches, 25 yards. So right now, I know they go on bye week here in Week 13 is this Carolina Panther team. But right here, he's a guy to keep in mind. Available in 79% of fantasy leagues. And Week 14, a good matchup with the Seattle Seahawks, who just got torched by Josh Jacobs, over 200 yards. So right now, Chuba Hubbard is a running back to get this week, and the 5th and final running back I look to get on the waiver wire this week. Jerry McKinnon of the Kansas City Chiefs. I know McKinnon, he's the passing downs back. He didn't get a touch out of the backfield, only catching the football in Week 12 was McKinnon. But McKinnon's a guy that's going to be part of this offense. We've seen the Chiefs a lot this season in close ball games and then pull it out at the end, even though in Week 12 versus the Rams, they were controlling the game from whistle to whistle in this one. So the last few weeks here for McKinnon, Week 9 versus the Titans, 3 carries, 4 yards, 6 catches, 40 yards. Week 10 versus the Jaguars, a carry for 2 yards, 6 catches, 56 yards. And Week 11 at the Chargers, 6 carries, 24 yards, a catch with a fumble loss. So right now, available in tons of fantasy leagues at 62%. And that might go up after this mediocre ball game for McKinnon, where we didn't see much out of him in Week 12. So right now, he's a running back to get off the wire because I think he'll be more involved. I know Pacheco got 22 carries in this ball game, but like I said, Pacheco don't really catch the ball out of the backfield, and McKinnon's locked in as the passing downs back over here. And I know Ronald Jones got some work as well with 4 touches, but right here, McKinnon's a running back to get. So that's a few running backs I look to get off the wire here for Week 13 of the fantasy football season.